Okay, guys, so if there's a quorum and everybody's been waiting on us, sorry, we're gonna have to ask everybody's patience, including the audience. These days are difficult because there's only 24 hours in them. If anyone can find me an extra few, I'll pay handsomely. But we had to discuss important issues regarding Hurricane Hannah this morning, and that delayed us. Turns out hurricanes don't respect budget workshops. But we can get going, Dale. And what is the pleasure of, is everybody now there? I know you said you were waiting, Commissioner Gonzalez. Can we start, Tyner?
Yes, Commissioner Matas is attending now.
Okay, great. Let's give him a chance to set up.
Good morning, Commissioner. Judge, the entire court is present.
Okay, great. Okay. Just so you guys know, I think we may have identified a few more budget challenges. I'm going to be working with Dale this afternoon. They are hurricane related. And I will have to, we're still waiting for engineers to give estimates. And we have a lot of uncertainty with regards to whether or not FEMA will be part of the public assistance opportunity that typically exists once a state meets a particular threshold. It's usually 39 million. And so because we live in the purgatory of not knowing if the state has met that threshold yet, we're still waiting for all the different counties that were affected, 30 counties, to give their damage assessments. It puts us in a precarious situation to know that we're going to have expenses and not know exactly where those are coming from. So I want to get those to Dale and have this meeting workshop and know that you're going to have possibly some more, what I would call serious budget, challenges to consider. Doesn't mean we can't overcome them. It doesn't mean we can't find sourcing for them. It just means that, just like the word says, it's a challenge. But with that, Dale, we left off last week vigorously talking about the different tax rates calculations. And since that time that we last gathered, you've done a great job and have provided to the court a bunch of new tax calculations that can be found on letters P, the P tab. And would you like to take us through your new calculations? How would you like to begin here?
Yes, Your Honor. First, we're going to go through a few items that we made a few modifications to the budget package we have.
Tyner, we'll need a mic on him. I've got nothing.
Yeah. All right, I believe we're on now.
Yeah, much better.
We only want to go over a few items that we made a few minor modifications to the budget packets. We didn't print everything out because it would be constantly printing some stuff. It should be the form that Teresa and Tyner had provided you for the flyers that we have. I'm going to go over a few items that we've added to the budget. And Tyner has a copy of the workshop that's on our website, and on the one that's on the website has every inclusion we have here. I just didn't print it for everybody. So Tyner, if you want to go through that, we can. Number one, we went ahead and added the medical examiner. We've had added do I have the other one? Where's the other one? Because we had a temporary for the medical examiner that was being paid as temporary. They wanted to make them as a full-time clerk. We're going to do this by offsetting our temporary budget by reduction of the temporary budget we have. We have different modifications we have for that. I don't have the right one. Go ahead with the last one.
Tab M.
But Tyler, if you go to the one that says new positions, you'll see the ones that we've added. That's M.
Okay, this is
tab M. You'll see there, we've added the new position for medical examiner, the senior clerk. It was a temporary position. That salary here is slightly offset by a reduction of temporary budget in their book. So that one is an added recommendation to the class. As you see, we've made sure the fire marshal and everything else has been accounted for us here, and all the other adjustments that we've had made. So with that, we can now go to the different scenarios we've created. If you look at the scenarios we have on tab P, we may have gone a little carried away, but we wanted to make sure we had enough for everybody and if that meets everybody's necessary needs. And that's going to start on P9. Well, actually, if you look at P8.
Hey, Joe, we hadn't talked about a code enforcement officer to add it to Public Works?
Not this amount, no. Right now, the code enforcement is still a general fund obligation. If we move it to Road and Bridge, our Public Works, that is moving it from Fund 11 to Fund 12, we'd still have to fund it through a transfer from the general fund. So theoretically, still paid by the general fund, regardless of how you do it.
Yeah, I think they really need another code enforcement officer or two. And you just,
Well, we do have code enforcement that we pay out of the general fund, and if that, we were just moving that department to the road fund, we can. But however, again, the funding source would most likely be the general fund because the amount of funds coming into the road fund are limited in the property tax, the additional $10 add-on fee, road fee, and all additional other type of small revenue of permits. The rest is funded by the general fund, and right now, I believe we're transferring around $2.5 to $2.8 million. If my numbers are right, it's around that number from the general fund. And that number would have to probably be increased if we move the code enforcement. I went ahead and showed you what a property value, if you had a value of a $200,000 house and your values did not change from last year to this year, this is what you would be paying at our current tax rate, which is $623.18. All the different scenarios we put together, I showed you what the value would be if the house was paid at those different rates. So if you go down to our no new revenue tax rate, which is our lowest tax rate possible, is a payment of $602.54 or a savings of $20.63. Go to the next highlighted one, which is your voter approved tax rate at 3.5%, which would normally be our highest. However, we are in a emergency situation, so we could go higher. But if you see, if we did approve the 3.5%, we would be paying about $4.24 more in taxes for a $200,000 house. If we go to the highest level, which is our voter approved tax rate of 8%, that would be a $35.87 increase of the property. Now, our voter approved, last year's prior adopted rate, when we first told you, was 2.69%. That 2.69% is from the general fund, not the entire fund rate. But if you do the entire no new revenue tax compared to our prior year taxes, is 3.42% higher than the no new revenue tax. So you see it would fall right between 3.4, 3.45 is where that number would follow. So you see 15 cents and 15 cents on either side. Tyler, if you go back 2 pages, you'll see the different scenarios we have, different rates we have. Here's our rates we have for as many as you would like. We have the no new revenue tax. And we go into each column, we go prior year taxes, which is 0.342%, as we said. Then we go voter approved is 3.5. Then the highest is 8. And then we went through this. There are many scenarios that y'all had requested, from 2% all the way up to 7% above the rate. So those are your particular rates we have. So should we decide on which one we would prefer to talk about or discuss, we can definitely do that. Then if we go to the other schedules, starting on page P9, these are your individual calculations based on each of the rates we just mentioned. For example, the first one on P9 is your no new revenue tax. You see our...
Hey, Dale.
Yes.
Dale, can I ask you a quick question before you get too far off of page P8?
Sure.
Is that okay?
Go ahead.
So I'm making sure on these numbers, that assumes no valuation increase?
That is correct. That assumes no value increase.
right? So that's if the house stays at the exact same value that did the year before.
Exactly.
So, and I didn't see in here, and maybe you're still looking at it, will you do it? And I'd also ask for the other way to calculate too. Are y'all still working on that as far as the number of people that it would affect based on valuation increases that have not been opposed? I don't know if I articulated that very well, but.
Yes, we reached out to the appraisal district to try to find the number of properties that had an increase in value to compare those that did not have a decrease in value or a reduction in value. We have not heard back from them yet. We're
Okay.
also preparing to try to get the information from the appraisal district for what our medium house value is, and usually that does
Sure.
increase slightly from one year to the next. And we'll have that as soon as we should have that before we do a public hearing or any town hall meetings that we have. We should have that information available, but we are working with the appraisal district for that.
Okay, thank you.
Going back to
I just
Pete,
want to say
yes.
thank you, because this is exactly what I think is incredibly helpful, Dale, is just have all of these scenarios. I know it's a lot of work, but I don't know about you, Court, but I think this is terrific to be able to look to see how it affects the average homeowner. Exactly, not just picking highs and lows, but looking at everything in between, including the tax rate that we have currently. This is exactly what we needed. Thank you, Dale.
Yes, ma'am. Let's go through.
And I guess, and Dale, I want to echo that, and then I want to make sure too that when we go back and get all that, because to me, this 200,000 number is very helpful, but I'm really curious as to how many people's valuations stayed the same, because it looks like there's a huge increase in valuations based on what the preliminary numbers look like. But again, I agree with the judge. Thank you for providing these. This is helpful.
Thank you.
Yes, we'll definitely work with the appraisal district to try to find the number of houses that had an increase in value. And as you said, there was probably several, because we had a 3.4% increase in valuation. Several of them was a corporate or industrial type of growth, but we'll definitely have that for you. If we go to P9, and P9 through the end of the election of P36 are all calculations based on your rates that we had on the previous pages we had showed, including the one we just saw on P8. You'll see the total taxable rate of 0.301271, and that rate is your no new revenue tax rate. If you go through all your calculations, we're estimating that tax rate for the general fund only will bring in $1,342,896. Now, if we go to the next one, which is
P9 or K9?
P9. In a minute, I'll tell you how this information links to your K values, but right now, let's go through the calculations of tabs P. If we go to P10, you'll see that now this is a 2%. So if you took the rate we just had of 0.31 or 301,271 and you multiplied the total rate by 2%, that rate will now be 0.307296, which is a 2% increase of the entire total tax rate above the no new revenue tax rate, giving us a general fund rate of 0.261326, road fund of 0.003844, and the debt service right now we're still using last year's prior rate. We can show you later on what the fully funded rate would be, but right now we're just showing you what the debt service rate of last year's rate would be. So we're showing a general fund of 0.261326. Given that calculation, we're bringing in $2,154,821. As we said before, new property brings in 1.3. So if you take 1.3 out of that, you'll see that the additional increase in valuation for those would be around $800,000. For those that had an increase in values, or the property that was not already on their own. But still, we're showing a $2,154,821 increase. Now, the rest of the calculations are going through those particular items, and we'll now kind of link this to your tab K. If you go back to tab P9. Where you got my case? If you look at that balance of $1,132,821, $1,342,896, and you link that now to tab K1. Tony, you want to go to K1?
T1?
K1. K is in kite. And that's F.
Tab K?
Okay, K1 is where we now first link the no new revenue tax. So as you see, we have increase in taxes at the no new revenue tax rate for new property of $1,342,896. Pardon me. We show you our revenue that we've already shown as entered in our budget that you should already have the information is $99,227,759, and through the rest of the Ks, that value should not change. We have transfers in of $1,634,920. Again, that number should not change throughout your level Ks. We have expenses of $98,136,384, which is all the information we've gotten so far that we've entered. Transfers of $9,781,933. Here are some of your possible challenges that we have, that these informations have not been entered in the books yet, so they're not part of the 98 million. That's your continuous pay of 164 employees of $164,051. Our collective bargaining agreement for our sheriff's office and constable's office of $505,333. We do see a reduction of our retirement plans of $182,135. Last year during we've had a few changes in some position changes that it was not part of the budget. We now need to put these in the budget as $193,845. Right now we have a limited number of new positions and deleted positions we have of $219,785, and limited reclassifications that we currently have as recommended, but these definitely can change, of $322,008. For a total challenges of $1,222,887. So if you give those little scenarios and you turn to into K2, at the very top of your one, you'll see you'll see the budget to actual. At the very top that's your estimated actuals for 2021, given some scenarios of collecting 100% of our revenue and 95% of our expenses. Given the amounts we've added, where we add the taxes as well as the revenue estimates to get the $100,570,655, and adding the $98,134 and all the additional challenges, you'll have expenses of $99,359,235. If we do those particular estimates that we have there, you'll see that these are only estimated values. Our expenses could be lower. As you see in the past, we've been 92 to 90%, so that could be lower than 95, but there's been history in the past. You'll see at the very bottom we had 96%. Depends on how we run the government, of course. And of course, the revenue could be a little bit less than 100%. You'll see last year we're estimating 97%. We had 101 and then 99, so it could be less than 100%. So given that, we've kind of conservatively put these numbers in. They can change. So if we chose the no new revenue tax that brought in the $1.3 million of revenue, we would project only a possible loss of resources of $1,967,631. If you go to the rest of the K's, K3 is that we just show you earlier of the 2%. Again, if we go to K4, you'll see if we go to the 2%, that $1 million we have is now reduced to $424,889, keeping our estimated balances going down a little bit from 24 to 23. To be able to find the ones that if we want to try to find one that's at a break-even point, let's go to K19 and K20. Now, this would be your break-even point for our balances should we want to not affect our fund balance. Again, those percentages can change, so it can be possible either way. So.
And Dale?
Yes.
Dale, I'm sorry. And when you're doing this, I'm just making sure I'm clear, you're assuming that the court is going to support all of the reclassifications and all of the recommended new changes? Is that correct?
No, I put them in as they are. They definitely can change, but right now they're just reflected as they've been submitted. Those definitely can change, and if they change, we'll definitely give you those numbers before we do a
No,
possible election.
I guess what I'm asking, I want to make sure this number that you're going to, let's just use this one, this K20, this break-even one. Does this break-even one include all of the, I'm trying to find all the ones that have been suggested that aren't contractual, that like the new medical examiner, information technology, county attorney, fire marshal? Does that include all of those additions into the budget to get to this calculation?
Yes, it does.
So if, just if, not saying, but if the court rejected this year only all of these things, then this number would be recalculated by whatever that reduction would be,
Yes, correct.
or any of the combination of. Okay, just making
No.
sure I've got it clear in my head. Thank you.
Now,
very much.
on
Yeah.
K-19, there
And-
are some
And
requirements that we have to have.
the only thing is, can you clarify, so, just so you know, that number is not as big as you think it is. It's 500,000. So if you look at some of the reclassifications, I
On
need to go
K-19.
back online, but I think it's,
K-19?
right, 159, 270, and 260,054 are the numbers I have. 159, 270, 260,054, then we would have to add the medical examiner's senior clerk, not the senior clerk, but it's a senior clerk.
Yeah, the first four numbers that we have on there, the continuous pay is part of our personnel policy, that's a fixed number.
Right.
Our
Yeah, I just
sheriff's
want to
office
point
and
out that
constables
while
are
you could
fixed.
theoretically take two out and make new calculations.
Yeah, the very bottom,
You
we
still
would-
have number one, number
500,000,
two,
yes.
number three, number four. Of course, number three is a negative number, but anyway, just wanted to throw that out.
And four has already been
We
approved.
can
and
run
yes.
those numbers, but don't kid yourself. You're still gonna not be at the no new revenue rate because you're too far away. Take a look at I've got to switch screens in order to get it, so forgive me. Hold on one second. You'd have to if you go back to K1, which is the
Right.
no new revenue.
I agree,
You
Judge.
notice that budget deficit. There's no way with the no new revenue, even if you take out all of the reclasses and all of the
New positions.
the new positions, you still would
Unless-
have a deficit. But let's run the number to show it.
Unless you make cuts.
Correct.
Right. I mean, we could all just leave the building too. I mean, sure. I mean, everything's in the realm of possible. I think today's a day to have a little bit more reality check. And what I want K1 to reflect for the commissioners is that K1 doesn't get you anything but a $2 million shortfall. And that's really being conservative to the benefit of the no new revenue, because I don't think we should expect to have budget revenues at 100% for this year, because the courts are already delaying till October. So that means we're already there's already going to be some challenges as to whether or not our revenues will stay 100%, given that we now know that the Supreme Court we continue to push back juries, right? Jury trials, and just really how we have hearings. So I don't know about that 100%, but we went
But
ahead
that's
and left
also-
it.
But that's
And it's
also,
just a good thing to look at.
there's a lot of expense that goes along with that jury trial stuff too.
You're
So-
right. There's offsets. That's why
It
I
goes
think
a-
100% is okay. Because there's offsets, right? And there's even offset on travel, for instance, right?
Right.
So,
I'm just talking, it's just, it's just theory of, where we have, or where I want to look, and if the court doesn't as a majority, I understand that. I'm just
Yeah.
making sure I understand where this is and how he's made the calculations in regards to looking at these numbers, and that's all I'm trying to do is just clarify.
yeah,
for my-
no, I hear you. And I'm actually enjoying the math problem very much, because I think it'd be a great thing to show that you would have to make huge monster cuts, plus get rid of all of the positions we've deemed that are essential, And yeah, I think it's a great exercise. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it with you because I think it's going to err to our benefit to show the audience that no new revenue tax rate is not possible. If you want to keep your county running the way it should be run, service wise, you would have to make too drastic of cuts to do that in this environment that you're not even sure you're going to get 97% on your ad valorem. So, yeah, I think it's a great exercise. We'll work with Dale and see if we can bring that out real fast. Were you on K2020?
Yes, K20.
Okay, I need to catch up. Let me get to K20. Okay, I'm on. Go ahead.
K20 is basically our break-even point. As the Commissioner Chesney was saying, this is still assumes the reclassifications and the new positions. Those are around $500,000 should any of those decided to be removed or taken out. The other four above that on K19 are fixed numbers because we've already done the prior year changes that the court has already taken care of. We just need to make sure they're now budgeted. The CBA, which is our collective bargaining agreement with the Sheriff's Office and constables, is a fixed number, as well as a continuance at the moment because of our personnel policy. And we will be bringing to the court a reduction of our rate for retirement, which does see a negative $182,135. So if we were to eliminate the new positions and the reclassifications, that would be right at $530,000 or $540,000 additional reduction of expense. And that, as the Commissioner said, we could lower the possible rate down from 3.5 down closer to 3.1, 3.2 if that be the case. Getting closer to the balances, but we can definitely do some calculations. However y'all would like us to do it, we can. But with the numbers we have, with the balances we put in as a submission to y'all as recommendations, we're seeing a break-even point right at 3.35% above the no new revenue tax rate. As you recall, our current tax rate is 3.42%. So if we stayed there, it'd be a little bit higher than this rate. So theoretically, we would be dropping our rate down slightly, even though some people will still see an increase in taxes.
Dale, this is Ernest, and that's because using the 5% that you historically beat the budget, so to speak.
I can't hear you, Commissioner. I can't hear you.
No,
Oh, Ernest, what did Ernest says?
Usually, that's also factoring the 5% that you normally beat the budget, if I can use that terminology.
What 5% you talking about?
He's talking about the budget to your actuals. He's saying he's recognizing that at that 3.35% increase on the above the no new revenue, that's where you break even, but that's also assuming you beat your budget by 5%, budget to actual.
Yes.
Right, that's what he's saying.
Yes.
In other words, you still have to create some pretty amazing feats in order to do this. In order to break even, you still have to beat your budget by 5% under your calculations here on K20.
And as you see, the last few years, we've with the help of the court, of course, as well as help of all of our elected officials and department heads, we have beaten that pretty soundly. If you look at the middle of the case where you see our budget to actuals for actual expenses of 18-19, there was 92.6%. If you look at 2018, which is the next one down, 92.5%. The very bottom one is the 16-17, which is 96.3%. So as you see, we stay anywhere between 94 to 95% on our collection. So that's why we kind of conservatively put 95% there. We most likely should beat that, hopefully, by a few percentage points, is where it should be maybe 92, 93%, hopefully. But we want to make sure we have the numbers there to reference. And as the judge was saying, our revenue may not come in at 100%. Luckily we've been at 101, 102, 99%. We're estimating 97 this year. But that's the key issue of what we're doing, and the key issue is on our property tax. What do we plan to our property tax collection percentages? In the files we'll be bringing to you on Wednesday, we have our calculation of our effective rate and our rollback, our no new revenue tax and our voter approved tax rate, including our debt service rate. And in that calculation now, the state requires us to put in the last three collection percentages years. And in way, our collection percentages of the lowest amount, which is where we have to go, is 97.07%. Now, if we were to collect 97% of our taxes, and that is maybe still a challenge, as we all possibly know. However, if you look at the numbers we provide you on the P levels, we only budget at 95% collection to be more conservative. So if we still collect 97% of our taxes, we've still collected 100% of our budget for property tax. So that's something we want to make sure we're aware of. So yes, there possibly may be a possibility of a reduction of collections of revenue, but hopefully we offset some of them by our projections and our estimates. So I'll be glad to answer any questions from that if you have.
Dale, I think we got something this morning from Keeshnik saying that we have to be at the 97.07 for for part of the calculation, even though we feel like one of the possibility it could be lower.
Right. If you look at the state law requires us to put in the last 3 years of collections from our all taxes, not just debt service, of what our collection percentages were, and we have to use the lowest collection percentages. And our tax office put in the last 3 years of collections, and the lowest was 97.07%. So that by state law, by the Tourism Taxation, and by Tax Code 26, we have to use a collection percentage of 0.07. We can't go higher or we can't go lower.
Dale, I also want to say that this is excellent information to help us really just understand what the percentages mean, where we stand as far as is there a deficit, is there a surplus, and really breaks it down. I think that will help the community understand as well. I know we talk about this and deal with this every year, that when we deal with these budgets and depending on what we pass, the media is going to run with it. And I know it's a very easy subject for people. They want to know, are my taxes being raised or are they not? But it's so convoluted at times because with the way the law is written now and the way that it depends on perspective, like what Commissioner Chesney's asking about as far as, well, did my valuation go up even though maybe you're not, it's not at the same rate as last year, it could be less, but I'm still going to end up paying more because my valuation went up. So I know there's a lot to it. But Judge, and I will help, I'm never going to ask anything for someone to do without me wanting to volunteer to help as well. But I've seen some counties and some municipalities that really do a good job with some infographics that really set out what do your taxes mean, right? And it shows a breakdown, like this dollar amount goes to roads, or this dollar amount goes to personnel. In all the different categories or major categories that we would have. And I mean, I don't know where we're going to go with this. I don't know what our vote's going to be, but either way, whether we go at the no new tax rate or go a little bit higher, there's still going to be a difference where people need to understand where the dollars go. So I want to see more tools and us getting the message out as we deal with this, because it's going to be, especially this year. I mean, I think we're all sensitive to the community. There's so many people being impacted by this pandemic and not having jobs, or their income is being reduced. And so I hope that we could really find a way to explain how and where this money is being used so that the general public will understand, just beyond the hype, beyond, what one side of this perspective or the other will say as far as, you're paying too much, you're not paying enough. We have needs that we're way behind, and I know that the Korn Ferry study on Wednesday is going to show us that we're lacking behind on salaries. But I hope that we can put something together that will really kind of do a great breakdown of what this all means to the community, so that we can send our own message and counter whatever that will be put out there. Now, if we don't do new tax rate, then I guess we could all just hang our hat on that and say, there you go, we're following what the new tax law language says, and most people would understand what that means. But we know, based on the numbers today, that it really is showing us a shortfall, and that's a concern to me. We do need to be careful and sensitive to people's ability to pay, but we also need to be able to continue the function of government and being efficient about it. So That's just my thought. I came across that last week, and I'll share you some, share some examples with you. But I just think that would help us going through the budget process, or once we get to the end, and what all these dollar amounts mean to the community.
Commissioner, we
Hey,
kinda-
John,
yes.
let me echo that. For starters, and I know you know this, so I'm hoping that what you mean is you want to get the message out that we are doing that, because we did do that last year for the first time historically. We produced that fiscal brief, and it was something that we had not done before, but because of the good software that our court procured for Dale, we're also able to be able to have some of the great tools that are in your budget. The reason your budget notebook looks so different this year, and it was good last year, but it looks even better this year, is because it does have those breakdowns, and they're now on our website. And what we need to do is now take it from the website and broadcast it out there to the general public.
And I agree.
And
I-
really
I
get it
think-
out there, because it does show you where your money goes. It also shows you where you get your money. People put too much value in that they think they know that it all comes from taxes, but they don't often see that there's other sources of revenue. There's also such a big misinformation about the fact that because you pay at the tax office at the county, that we're the bad actors here, when really we're a very small percentage of your overall tax bill. And so when they need to understand that there's Del Mar College taxes, there's City of Corpus Christi taxes, right? Nueces County, Hospital District, Farm to Market Road, and CCISD, and they all have different purposes. And what I like about what you said is that you have to own up whatever your tax base is. You have to say that you're getting value for it. And I think that's what you're saying is, let's get that message out as to what the value is. For example, under Dale's scenario of 3.5%, $4.24 is what an average $200,000 home would see as a change in their profile to pay Nueces County if we adopted the 3.5% above the no new revenue. Now, you might say to yourself, well, I don't want anyone to pay $4 a year extra, and that's fine. But what you really need to ask that person is whether they think it's got value. Because I promise you, down the road, when that $4 turns into 40, and it will, if you don't address the things that they need you to address, like roads and like infrastructure, and if you really want to know what all economists think about when you have these terrible types of recessions, and even when in our history we've had the Great Depression, it was economic investment by government that got us out. It wasn't cutting and doing nothing. It was the opposite. And that's what economics is all about. It's the study of how to, right, properly understand the economy and what incentives are required. And so for me, yes, it's important to know. I will tell you, the average home in Corpus Christi is not even 200,000. Okay, your mean average home, Dale has it in I'd have to get my budget book out here in the first pages, but our mean average home value in Corpus Christi is below 200,000. Anybody have that number?
Well, last year it was
handy?
around 150, but we'll get the information from the tax
It's
office.
150, okay? So that $4 isn't even reflective of the average homeowner. So, we're gonna work with that chief appraiser so that you can see what the industrial growth is versus the homeowners growth. But you pay now, my friends, or you pay a lot more later. And so that $4 really needs to be averaged to the 151,000, because that is the average home in Nueces County, not even 200,000. I think we just pick numbers because they're easy, nice round numbers. But if you really want to drill down on it, that $4 is probably maybe $3.50, and to the average homeowner under the 3.5, which is the highest that the legislature wanted us to go. So you see, the legislature was pretty smart, and they said, if you have to raise taxes, counties, to continue with the services that you're providing your citizens, let's do so in a very, very modest way, because we're going to hope that you have some growth to live on. and we're gonna tell you that your cap should be 3.5%. Therefore, your average homeowner pays $3 more a year. But you gave them a lot of value. Because if you keep holding off, you might save them a couple of pennies this year, okay, by going to a no new revenue tax rate or right above it. But you're gonna cost them longer when money is more expensive in the future. And that's what economics is. It's really understanding the long ball, not just the short game. And so I think that it's really important to understand that if you really want to help people, you'll get them to go to work. And the way we get people to go to work is you provide good paying jobs. And the way you provide good paying jobs is not by cutting them. It's by giving the opportunity for people to have good paying jobs. And we're an employer like every other business. So I just want us to think about that as we go forward. These numbers and profiles are super important, very important what you say, Commissioner, about getting the message out to the people. And when I believe in something, I know I can deliver. I can deliver that message. And I believe in what we're doing here is an excellent, I hope most governing bodies do this. I don't know if I've seen anybody do it as good as we do it here at the county in presenting all the facts in a transparent way, tons of budget workshops, tons of opportunities for commentary, and also different schools of thought. And that's how you get a good budget. You don't get a good budget because one person comes up with their idea. You get a good budget because every school of thought is represented at the table. And our Commissioners Court represents all schools of thought. And I really like that. So with that, do you have any questions, Commissioners? It's hard for me to see everybody, so I'll just call on you. Commissioner Vaughn, do you have any questions for Dale?
I don't have any questions. I would just like to say I'm glad that we brought up the average household, because I think that's what we ought to be looking at, because the majority are in that bracket. So if you can just give us that number, it would be helpful, Dale.
We just really looked at the values from the appraisal district, 140,917.
140. So what we'll do is run our county, run the 3.5 on the 147, and you'll see that it'll probably be, it'll certainly be under the $4.20.
And Commissioner Matos, we do have something in tab A9 that kind of shows you a rough estimate of where the money comes from, where the money goes to. We can definitely expand on that slightly if you so choose so here's your money comes in from 49% of your taxes, 16% of your charges for services. We have 27% of intergovernmental revenue for one more down there. Too far. Right there shows you this, and it kind of does you a breakdown of where your main costs are. We break it down between personal costs, other costs that you have in there, but on the far bottom right, you'll see that we break it down by functions of government, general government, road and bridge, debt service, and it shows you all of our costs based on types of government. We can definitely expand on that if you need it. If you think you need
And I
it.
like the way that you've done this in the past, and I think it's very helpful for us. What I'm thinking of is kind of the elevator pitch. It doesn't have to be everything.
Yes.
But maybe 4 or 5 of the main functions. It doesn't have to be a whole division of all the different categories we have, but, what are our biggest, personnel, maybe operation of justice, right, the jails and what have you, the courts, and show what the dollar amounts are there. So it may not equal the total, $100 or whatever, how we want to present it, but at least it shows a good chunk of them, because that's too much to remember and recall or to share, I think, with the community or on social media. I mean, this would be good. We can definitely share this, but I think, like for, kind of call it the elevator pitch, right? Where you only have a few seconds to explain to the media in a soundbite or in an interview or what have you, when you're Zooming with the Rotary Club or someone like that, that we have just 4 or 5 that we can share in a real simple infographic that kind of just gives an idea of what some of the breakdown look like. And I'll forward it to you all.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not saying that we don't do it or we haven't. I appreciate that we have this, but maybe just to make it a little bit simpler, even maybe something as simple as, how much this goes into debt service, law enforcement, road and bridges, something. And you can have maybe several that are broken down like that, where you can just give a nice little one where they see some little people at work and they understand, oh, that's a personnel cost, or a little jail, that's, administration of justice, and just, healthcare or what have you. Those I think would help in maybe me being able to retain that information. But like I said, also I think for the community to retain it as well and understand that there's 3 or 4 main things that really cost overall, and that's where, you know, out of your $100 or $40 going here, 20 there, and maybe 10 there, with understanding the rest of the balance is broken down into many other categories.
Yeah, as the judge was saying, I know she wants to do another town hall meeting. We're definitely gonna put some stuff together for her town hall meeting. And we'll definitely do like we did last year, put together a budget brief, which is a very brief summary of what we have. Whereas you said, we can put like this dollar bill broken down by revenue type, but the dollar bill broken down by functions of the government, and then get small, this is the largest one, this one's the largest, these are the largest 3. So you see where it's coming from, so you know value. But we'll definitely work with the judge, and we'll definitely work with y'all to give best what y'all can provide to your constituents to show you, here's what our budget's doing.
There's about 3 graphics already, Commissioner, that we've done in the last 3 years, you know.
We can definitely expand on everything we have here, so nothing's set, we can definitely do whatever we need to do, and we'll try to put it in a 3 or 4 page brief summary for y'all to provide to whoever y'all decide to give it to.
She had a good presentation last year. It was
Yes.
excellent.
Yeah.
So that's what we went through with our calculations of different scenarios, different types. So your K1 and your Ps all kind of sync together. Your K1 goes with your no new revenue tax, which is I believe P9. Then each one of them follows the same procedures. You see that the percentage at the very top matches the balances. As I mentioned, if we have what we put before you already and it gets going through, then the break-even point would be 3.35. However, if we do reduce the reclassifications or we do reduce our new possible positions, that can reduce it down anywhere from $300,000 to $500,000, depending on what y'all so choose. So again, that would also lower our break-even point for that. So we can definitely throw in some calculations, however y'all see fit for us to do. We can definitely do that. It doesn't take a long time, but we can't have it just right away. We can definitely give you scenarios based on what our average value property is now, what it was last year. 'Cause we normally do that for you anyway, to show you what the either increase or decrease in taxes would on a average value property. We'll definitely be able to do that for you, and whatever other sources we want us to look into, we definitely can. So with that, I'll surrender to the judge.
Yeah, thanks, Dale. Thank you, Dale, for that offer of putting together the executive summary or the summary in brief. I think that's very helpful. We're also going to work on the town halls with Tyner to get all the calendar dates for everybody and make sure we can get the public to participate by Zoom, because we know it's going to be hard for them to participate in person. We're going to make sure all of that gets done. The one thing that we really haven't mentioned is that we really haven't discussed how Hannah could impact the budget. And also, and that's just a completely new whirlwind for us here. There are some really important items that I'm going to have to bring forward for you guys. Hopefully, I'll work with Dale this afternoon or after this meeting to let him know. One is a survey that needs to be done, absolutely has to be done within 90 days of a storm. And this survey will be, several $100,000. So it needs to be, budgeted for. And whether we get our money back is another question, but we're going to have to advance the funds. So got to make sure that that's there. And there's also this matter of courthouse generators that we have been waiting on for 2 years to get all the right dollars put together so that we could buy us some courthouse generators. I think with COVID going forward, and having endured Hannah, thank goodness, not too difficult at the courthouse, you get a chance it's like God sending you the 3 boats. I feel like I've already gotten my second boat, and the third one is going to be, hey, why didn't you jump on? And we need to address courthouse generators. I realized this weekend that we really had not made that a focal point. And it might be that it's not a problem since we have CO dollars and that was, identified. But I also want to give you guys some food for thought as we close this budget workshop. And that is that you want your cash reserves to be strong more than ever right now. One of the ways we're going to basically fight our way through what's happened to our our state and our region and our community is that we're gonna have to stay strong financially. So our credit rating has to be super duper. And protecting that credit rating helps protect our future needs. In other words, we're gonna be able to borrow what we need based upon that credit rating. And so I would just ask you, as you look through all of the different scenarios, to not choose a scenario that's going to classically impair us by having to dip into reserves. And I think that's one thing we have to bring to the citizens is that whatever comes our way, sometimes we can't predict. And sometimes we know, like generators, we know we're going to need them. We can create alternative financing for ourselves. We can be creative. We can be resilient if our credit is strong. And so I think going forward, all of our needs, put the wants back on the shelf, but our needs are going to have to be addressed from medical examiners' offices to generators by creative financing, by thinking public-private partnerships, by thinking in ways that we have not been challenged to think of before. Otherwise, we just won't be able to say to the taxpayer, we tried to keep you in the best position during difficult times. I'm for that, just for the record. I'm for keeping the tax as low as possible because I know that every little bit helps. Even if it's just $3 a year, everything matters to a family who's working hard. But what I also know is that by keeping us strong, I'm helping that family. Because when that family has a need of our county services, from the courts to the juvenile, to elections, to veterans, social, and everything else in between that we take care of, they know that their county is strong enough to weather any storm, whether it's be called COVID-19 or has a named wind and water event. And that's what we need to look at. So I would say, please, when you look at the Ps, attachment Ps, marry it with your K. Take a look at that K corresponding data that Dale has given to you. And look at that top numbers so that you can see, even if you beat the budget by 5%, where you are. Where is that break-even point? Where is your comfort factor for this county going forward? And I'm willing to look at any and all options. I'm not married to anything right now except for good government. That's what I'm married to and always have been and always will be. Good government requires discussion, dissent, and collaboration and compromise. It's too bad the Nationals don't believe in the same thing, but we do here. And let's keep that spirit alive here. So I'm willing to look at any and all scenarios as long as we have an agreement that we'll respect one another and our opinions. But commissioners, do you have anything further? Commissioner Gonzalez, do you have any questions of Dale before I move on?
No, not right now.
All right, Commissioner Chesney? Okay, Commissioner
No,
Modis?
ma'am. No, ma'am,
Okay.
sorry, I was on mute.
Okay, I was reading your, okay, so Dale, if there's nothing further from you, it's really a time to study all the data that you've given and presented. And our next time to gather, let me grab my schedule, is August 14th. I know that's
We have one
nothing
tomorrow
that for
morning.
us to do.
Tomorrow morning, Judge,
Tomorrow morning.
tomorrow morning.
Tomorrow morning. Oh
9
my
a.m.
gosh, okay, that's not on, I'm looking at my old calendar.
What are we
Okay.
covering tomorrow?
Well, we really
Say
don't
that
need,
again?
we can do this again, or we can, you can give us some scenarios. We don't really need, tomorrow if you don't really want one. However, on Wednesday, we do have to propose a rate. For the court has to propose a tax rate, whatever that proposal rate would need to be. And that determines whether we need to file notices and file hearings, whatever might be the case. But on Wednesday, we will be proposing a tax rate
And taking a record vote.
and taking a record vote.
Then I would
Right.
want, I would want
So-
to meet tomorrow.
So
that's
why
we could
don't
talk
we
this out.
meet tomorrow then, so we can actually do that discussion of, let's really get into it. And then Wednesday we'll meet and have that be more of a formality, I hope.
Can we
Well,
can we cut this?
I guess
thing
I'm trying
down
to one-
To about 3, can we cut this thing down to about 3 or something like that, or 4?
Cut what down to 3 or
Instead
4?
of having to all this, everything we're gonna go through again, I mean, we gotta be at a medium somewhere and say, this is the top 3 we're looking at.
Well, as we said, one of them would have to be looking at is no new revenue tax is definitely one of them though you definitely have to consider. Then you'll need to, I would do your break-even point. Right now, that's 3.35% above that no new revenue cap. I would do prior year's tax rate, which is what we're at now. And then I would do the maximum 3.5. I don't believe we need to go over 3.5, but that's y'all's choice whether you want to do it or not.
I guess I'm trying to figure out what's the purpose of tomorrow's meeting? I didn't,
Just to go through the scenarios, so we can work with the court to determine what your proposed rate will be on Wednesday.
and we can't do that today, or does people just need time to think about it? I mean,
We can recess and come back later this afternoon if everybody agrees, Tyner, but I don't know how the agenda would work. Was it all-day event or what?
Yeah, you could recess and reconvene at a certain time.
Yeah, I think so. I think that's a good idea. And right now, we're doing the effective rate. This year is the effective rate. We're on right now, right?
Right now, we're on the last year's adopted rate.
Adopted rate,
Last year's adopted rate, and that's the 3.42%.
3.42%.
That's above the last year, that's above the current no new revenue tax.
I'd like to, I'd like to take this tomorrow, to really, I know some of us, we know where we're standing, but there's a lot of other options, and in the end, it's gonna be, I think, really simple, what direction we wanna go, but I'd like some time, at least overnight, to look at all these different scenarios we have, all the different dollar amounts, and then come back, and then maybe we're all ready tomorrow just to make a quick decision one way or the other, but.
Now, we'll give us some
I'd
time
like-
to put
yeah.
in the new calculations on the average property value, determine what the decrease or increases were from last year, and give you some scenarios so that y'all can look over overnight.
That'd be good.
That sounds good.
Yeah, and also to talk to the appraiser this afternoon.
Yes.
So that he can give us those projections.
Yes, we will.
Okay, so we'll come back. Yeah, I'm looking at, what's great about being in quarantine is you don't know what day it is. It's like, today is the 10th, right?
No,
Today's the 10th, so
Yes.
August the 12th is
The
our,
10th.
is our drop dead date for the,
quarantine, I still don't know the date. Jeez.
for our record vote.
So we'll-
Okay, so we'll just come back tomorrow. By the way, we ended a lot earlier, or we're going to end a lot earlier today than maybe you anticipated. So this is a good chance to work with, and by the way, I'll be in shortly. I just, I needed a car this morning and I didn't have one, so I'm here this morning. But I'm headed to the courthouse and I will be able to, visit with you guys, Dale, shortly. And so in other words, we have time to talk and we have time for Ernest to gather with you, share your information with Ernest, what you're thinking. He can share it with Dale. Let us try to get you these extra pieces of information you've asked for. And then we'll reconvene tomorrow. But tomorrow, I think the order of the day is for us to make a recommendation, for there to be an actual discussion about a tax rate or maybe even a high-low. I always like that. What's the bottom and what's the highest? That the court is really looking at, and then you can narrow it down. It's a different way of looking at your top 3 choices, Commissioner Gonzalez, but it's still a good floor and a ceiling.
And Judge, as you said, on Wednesday, we're proposing a rate. We're not adopting a rate. We're just proposing a rate. And whatever rate you propose is the highest rate you can go, because after that, you cannot go higher than that unless you have multiple hearings after that. So,
Right. But the reality is that'll be our day.
yes.
And I am available for, you'll need me.
Go ahead, Ernest, say it one more time.
Yeah, and I'm available, commissioners, any way I can help.
Okay, great. Okay, well, I will close then if there's nothing further. Dale, the only thing I want to talk to you about is the generators. And what I'm going to be asking you for is how much money we actually have put away for the generators. And and maybe it's not a budget challenge like I think, but I'm concerned about it enough to where I wanna, that might weigh in my decision on the tax rate. So I wanna know exactly how much we have. And then I want you to go ahead and assume, because we believe FEMA will sign off on the $1.5 million additional dollars that are coming our way. So whatever you have that we've packed away from previous grants and matching funds that were escrowed, so to speak, and the current promise by TDM to give us 1.5 million. And I'm looking for that total number because I do believe I understand what our generators will cost us, and I want to see how far away we are from what we have saved, what's coming, and what the delta is.
Your Honor, we do have a project, Tyler, if you can go to K-12.
K-12, okay, hang on, let me get
X-12,
there.
X-12, sorry, X-12. Wrong alphabet.
Oh, yeah,
X-
okay,
X-12.
X-12, okay.
We had set up aside some costs for when we had the Waco Street possible emergency generator. We still have funds available for that particular event, if that's the one you're talking about. And right now, we have $658,140 available. X-12.
Okay, X-12, okay, got it. Okay, so we are short about $1 million. Okay, well, it may just have to be CO'd. Okay, all right, thank you so much. I see it now. I've got it right here. And that's for both, right, Dale? It's for annex and courthouse jail, or is that just one?
That's just the Waco Street. That's Waco. We had a project for the annex as well, and I believe we already used those funds.
Okay.
We had set aside several years ago to have it, then we transferred the generator from the courthouse to the annex, and we reset up some funds, but we were assuming to get a generator for the Waco Street. That just never worked out, but we never moved the funds.
Got it. Got it. Okay, super. Okay, thanks, everybody. I'll adjourn this meeting and we will see everybody back tomorrow.
Hey, Dale, I'm just